Okay, so today is my least favourite day in terms of being confident at showing you what to do, because it is the old noodle arms. But needs must, identified many times by many people, not that I need it, that they're my weak body part, and something I've been consciously working on for a while. However, in terms of having an arm day specific, that has only been this year. So all being well, we will see some improvement. Obviously through lockdown has been the perfect time to just focus even more, I suppose, because arms is one thing that you probably can train pretty effectively with really minimal equipment. Like you could just do a band workout with arms. Obviously today you won't just see that, you'll see exactly what I've been doing. But yeah, I'm going to do my stretching as normal, show you my full session, and give you an insight into how to get some fairly poor to average arms. So you guys are winning. And back with the voiceovers. So it is arms today. As I've said, not my strongest body part, but I'll take you through what I do. First part of the session is all triceps. So I'm starting here with a single arm extension. Again, the focus here is just moving through that elbow joint, really contracting hard. We're thinking short position, maximal contraction on the tricep here. Kind of warm up the elbow joint, plenty of blood flow before I move on to my heavier work coming up. French press now, and this is one of the kind of heavier movements of the session. I love the French press. I feel really good with it, and I can move decent weight. I'll always have the bench on a slight incline, and I find that kinder on my shoulder joint. And again, the focus here is controlling the negative, explosive on the concentric, and moving through the elbows, keeping the upper arm locked in place. So I'll do 2 failure sets here. This first is the kind of heavier of the 2, and then the second one, which we'll see shortly, a little bit lighter and a little bit stricter. So this is my second working set, or my back off set for this movement. So I've taken a little bit of weight off. As I just said, the focus here is going to be on making it a little bit more strict. And by doing that, you'll notice that I'm pausing on the forehead. So I'm going from a dead stop. This just means that I'm putting more tension on the triceps. I'm not resting it on my forehead. I'm not kind of taking any of the stress away from things. But I'm keeping tension on, engaging out the bottom hard, and fully extending at the elbow. I sped up the second half of the set because it was quite a long set, I think 20 reps, and probably a bit boring for you otherwise. Dips up next, and a real kind of solid meat and potatoes movement for triceps. I've added the band here. I did 1 set with the band, 1 set without the band, both to failure. I'm a big guy, 315 pounds plus, so these put a lot of weight through the tricep in that mid-range, and again, I can really feel that working well. A little bit of chest comes into play, which isn't a bad thing from my point of view, given that's also a fairly weak body part, but again, here you see really grinding that last rep out. So I always like to finish the triceps part of the session and the biceps part of the session with a bit more volume. So we're on a superset here of close grip bench press. You can note my new squat stands that I'm using here from Mace Muscles. Thank you very much, guys. But yeah, close grip press, focusing on the triceps, again, focusing mainly moving through the elbow. And then from here, I'm going to go into a banded tricep extension from kind of an over the head position. So on the banded tricep extension, the focus is moving through the elbow joint and getting a full stretch when my arms are right behind my head, so that I'm just getting that lengthened range, obviously contracting hard through the movement. This felt really nice. In this angle, my upper arm is nicely locked in, my shoulders are quite stable, and a good variation of this movement. And now we move on to biceps. The focus on the majority of these exercises coming up is stability. That is the way I find I connect best with my biceps. I know this looks like a bit of a strange exercise, but obviously my elbow's resting on my knee, means that upper arm is locked in place. I find the tension really good in that peak position, that fully shortened position. And again, this first exercise, kind of warming the bicep up, really driving blood in there. And I feel kind of a really good connection and a really good pump come the end of this. So onto a single arm preacher curl effectively. I'm using the bench that I've got, again, supporting that upper arm, focusing fully on moving through the elbow and getting kind of a full range of movement here, contracting hard at the top. You'll notice each rep kind of actively focusing on kind of pausing and contracting. Again, all that tension remains on the bicep, nothing goes elsewhere. And yeah, I'll do both arms. The second arm, you'll notice I sped up because again, you've kind of seen what we're getting at here. Now, this superset here is one of my favorites for biceps. It is really challenging. Come the end of just one round, you really know about it. So we're starting off with barbell spider curls. Again, I'm using the bench so that I'm nicely locked in. You'll notice my upper arm stays pretty much in place. Movement through the elbow, really challenging in that kind of, as we get into the more contracted position. And then from this, I'm going to take this pretty much to failure. The last few reps are a little bit ropey, which is fine. Again, it's hard to cheat on this, so your biceps are going to do the majority of the work. But from this, I'm going to turn around, keeping the bench at the same angle, and I'm going to do an incline dumbbell curl. So this incline dumbbell curl really forces that bicep into a full stretch, and I'm going to make sure that I take it there, and then I'm going to curl again, all through the elbow joint, trying to keep that upper arm locked in place. Now, for some people, this may cause some kind of shoulder aggravation, so you may have to manipulate the angle of the bench. My shoulder mobility is quite good, so I can get away with keeping it exactly the same. But you'll notice there, I'm kind of fully extending at the elbow, stretching the bicep, and then curling through. To finish the biceps off and to finish the session off, we come onto a drop set here. I just did one of this, so alternating dumbbell curls all the way through. Start off on, I think this was 20 kilos, then I dropped to my 15 kilo dumbbells, and then I dropped down into bands. So we're thinking here, you know, again, trying to keep as strict as possible, but ultimately just maximum blood flow, maximum sort of output, and finish the biceps off. Yes, I have again sped up certain parts of this, so you're not too bored, but every time I kind of go to a drop, you'll see the actual pace of the exercise. Here we go, normal pace here. So again, working through, trying to keep it as strict as possible. Just keep moving at this point. You know, it's going to hurt, it's going to burn. This is the final part of the session, and then we're done. Alright, that is arms done. Almost look like I've got a pair. Wow, that was a hot session. I am sweaty as anything. I need a shower, I need to change my top. But it's an excellent session. Arms for me, obviously, I said at the beginning, is a weak body part. It's probably been the most fluid and changing session through lockdown, because for me it's really important that I find exercises that I connect really well with and that I actually feel. I can move weight, you know, as well as anyone, but that, particularly for myself on arm training, and for I see like quite a lot of people really, doesn't translate actually to muscular growth. So being as accurate as possible is important on all sessions, but for me particularly on arms. So you'll see a lot of today's exercises were particularly isolation stuff, were as kind of locked in as possible, and just moving through kind of the elbow joint, depending on what I'm working, biceps or triceps, in various kind of degrees. So that locked in, isolated exercise is the one that works best for me generally. Triceps I can go a little bit more compound on, so obviously you see I had the close grip bench, the dips and the French press. Again, personal preference, I've always felt I can feel and connect and move weight with my triceps, whereas biceps is, like I said, just a bit more of an accuracy thing. So I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm sorry my arms aren't bigger and it probably wasn't a more entertaining session, but nonetheless that's what I have been doing. Like I said, I've played around throughout lockdown, and this session here is pretty much the exercises that I keep in my arsenal. I do sometimes vary it, and I will sometimes maybe superset biceps or triceps. Sometimes I will start with biceps and finish with triceps. But I think generally my preferred way of doing it is triceps first, biceps second. But again, you know, it's something that it gives a bit of variety. I can change it around and still feel good off of it. So that is that. They're all my sessions now. You've seen everything. I've done my pull, my push, my legs and my arms. So those 4 sessions I've done throughout lockdown, and I just repeat through. So I have been doing pull, push, rest, legs, arms, rest, repeat. The sessions themselves have been pretty similar. I might rotate a couple of exercises in and out. I might change rep ranges slightly, but that is pretty much the basics and the bare bones of what I've been doing to see me through in the best possible position. So I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching, and that's another spare room session done.